If you've ever felt like a ghost in a room full of living souls, if you've ever glanced around and questioned the desperate lengths people go to in order to blend in, if you've ever sensed that social interactions are a hollow charade you refuse to partake in, then this video is meant for you. And if you've never experienced this disquiet, perhaps it's time to confront the unsettling possibility that you've been ensnared in a web of deception. For today we will delve into a chilling reality. Arthur Schopenhauer, the harbinger of pessimism, perceived this grim truth. With piercing clarity, most individuals are ensnared in a grotesque farce. They adorn themselves, act, and speak not from their authentic selves, but because they've been conditioned to crave acceptance. But here lies the question that lingers in the shadows: acceptance from whom? Consider this: how many times have you sat through meaningless exchanges just to avoid the sting of rudeness? How often have you feigned laughter at a joke that left you cold? How frequently have you felt that every social encounter is a grim transaction where you're expected to sacrifice a piece of your essence for the illusion of belonging? And now, the question that truly haunts: at what cost? Schopenhauer warned us intelligence and social life are locked in a bitter struggle. The more perceptive you are, the less sense you find in the masquerade, not out of arrogance, but because you glimpse the darkness that others remain blissfully unaware of. You observe the masks people wear, the deceit cloaked in false politeness, and the delicate nature of a world where validation is craved from others. The most chilling realization, however, is that the majority choose to turn a blind eye. Society is crafted to distract you, to keep your mind occupied, for when you delve too deeply, the disarray becomes apparent. You start to see that most connections are shallow, that conversations are mere echoes, and the struggle to conform is a subtle form of self-destruction. Herein lies the torment. If you possess the insight to recognize this, you also bear the weight of the isolation it brings. The truth is stark. The more you ponder, the more you stand apart, and others sense it. They can feel your detachment from their frenzied conformity. They sense your reluctance to engage in their mindless rituals, and it unsettles them, for your very presence threatens the fragile bubble they inhabit. Schopenhauer's words ring true: solitude is the destiny of those who think deeply, and that truth stings. It stings because society has conditioned you to believe that joy is found in connection, that you must have friends, social circles, a sense of belonging. But what becomes of those ties when they are hollow? What occurs when you grasp that the cost of socializing is a descent into mediocrity? What happens is a yearning for something deeper, something real. You begin to pull away. Your time starts to hold more value than the approval of others. In this shift, something strange occurs at first. Loneliness feels like a heavy burden, but eventually it transforms into a bittersweet privilege. In that solitude, you uncover a truth that society desperately tries to conceal: a sense of peace. Schopenhauer grasped this better than anyone else. For him, intelligence was both a gift and a curse. The deeper your understanding of the world, the less it captivates you. The more you perceive human nature, the more you wish to distance yourself from its relentless game. Many misinterpret this realization, believing it to be an invitation to misanthropy, a call to despise humanity or shun all social interaction. But it's not that. It's about recognizing the distinction between genuine connection and mere obligation. It's about granting yourself the freedom to choose when and with whom to engage, rather than simply conforming to societal expectations. It's about realizing that true intelligence doesn't crave external validation. Yet, here lies the most poignant aspect: when you cease to seek acceptance, a profound change occurs within you. Others begin to notice. They see that you're no longer desperate to belong, that their approval doesn't dictate your worth, that your world remains intact even if you're left out of the next gathering. This realization leaves them bewildered, for most are ensnared in the relentless pursuit of being seen, heard, and validated. In the end, it's a lonely path, but perhaps it's the only way to find true peace. By choosing to abstain from that game, you become a riddle wrapped in shadows, an enigma that evokes fear, an enigma that captivates. The cruel twist of fate is that the less you seek the approval of the masses, the more dominion you wield over it. True liberation dawns when the opinions of others no longer haunt your thoughts. So, when someone insists that you should mingle more, that you should strive to fit in, that you should conform to the crowd, remember this: it is not you who is flawed. You are merely one who has glimpsed the unsettling truth, and that truth is a bitter pill for most to swallow. But here's where it grows even darker. Once you grasp that social validation is a mirage, once you truly absorb that most interactions are mere performances, You begin to perceive something chilling. The silence becomes your companion, and that terrifies those around you. We inhabit a realm where cacophony reigns, social media, meaningless chatter, sensational news crafted to provoke. Everything is designed to ensnare you in a web of endless distraction. For silence compels you to confront your thoughts, and thinking is a perilous endeavor. Schopenhauer not only recognized this, he lived it, retreating from society to immerse himself in philosophy, music, and deep reflection. He wasn't born from a disdain for humanity. Rather, he understood that the clamor of the world serves only to obscure the mind. Here lies the pitfall for many, as they conflate solitude with loneliness. There exists a chilling chasm between solitude and isolation. To be alone is to wield a dark power. It is a deliberate choice to embrace depth over the shallow, to favor quality over the hollow clamor of the masses. In stark contrast, isolation is a haunting curse, a torment felt by those who yearn for acceptance, yet remain forever on the outside, clawing at the walls of belonging but never breaking through. The cruel irony lies in the fact that the one who craves acceptance is doomed to face rejection, while the one who shuns it willingly finds a strange comfort in their solitude. For when you tread your own shadowy path, indifferent to the whispers of approval, you draw in those who truly resonate, those who think deeply, who question the very fabric of existence, who refuse to drown in the cacophony of triviality. The unsettling truth is that intelligence is not inherently antisocial. Rather, it casts aside the mundane. Consider this: the great minds of history were not outcast by choice, but they recoiled from the emptiness of idle chatter. Da Vinci immersed himself in his dark obsessions, retreating from a world that could not fathom the depths of his thoughts. Tesla, too, was consumed by his inventions, a solitary figure shunned for his brilliance, labeled eccentric and difficulty tenant. Why? Because they dared to defy the suffocating norms, refusing to adhere to the scripted farce of ordinary social existence. In the shadows of their genius, they found a haunting truth that true connection often lies in the depths of solitude, where the echoes of the mind can finally breathe. Here's the truth: social life consists of a series of predictable patterns meant to keep you within the confines of society. From the moment you enter the world, you learn that acceptance is paramount, that you need friends, that being part of a group is essential, and that solitude is undesirable. However, no one explains that many of these groups exist primarily due to a fear of loneliness rather than genuine connection. It's not mentioned that individuals with extensive social networks often feel a sense of emptiness. The most groundbreaking ideas, significant revolutions, and crucial discoveries often emerge from those who have the courage to step away from the clamor. Yet, many misunderstand this and believe the answer lies in completely rejecting society, becoming a recluse, and living in total seclusion. This is not the case. True strength lies not in fleeing from the world, but in knowing when to engage with it and when to withdraw. Real power is found in navigating the shadows when the noise becomes overwhelming, yet stepping forward with conviction when necessary. Consider the great strategists. They weren't always at the forefront of the conflict, but when they did emerge, their influence was undeniable. Those who truly grasp the essence of life are neither bound by societal expectations, nor are they escapees. They are quiet participants. They maneuver their pieces quietly, constructing their plans in the shadows. By the time the world becomes aware of their presence, it's already too late. They have triumphed without ever needing to draw attention to themselves. Schopenhauer suggested that a higher intelligence is fated to endure profound solitude, not as a form of punishment, but as a unique advantage. For in solitude, one can genuinely create something meaningful. Yet, what of those who fail to grasp this? What becomes of those who believe that true happiness is found solely in the approval of others? They find themselves ensnared in a relentless cycle of dependence. Each photo they post, every story they tell, every opinion they voice, it's all meticulously crafted to elicit a response, a like, a comment, a fleeting validation that convinces them they truly exist. But the harsh reality is this: if your sense of being hinges on the reactions of others, then you have never truly lived. You are merely a shadow of what others expect, and that is the antithesis of freedom. True freedom isn't about indulging in whatever you wish without consequences. It's about not needing anyone's approval to pursue your genuine desires. It's about finding peace in solitude, embracing silence without the gnawing anxiety or the compulsion to fill every empty moment with distractions. If you cannot achieve that, then you are not free. You are a captive of the clamor surrounding you. Schopenhauer grasped this truth more profoundly than anyone else. which is why he withdrew from the world, not out of disdain, but as a calculated maneuver. Only from a distance can one truly perceive the grim reality. Only in the suffocating silence can you hear the haunting echoes of your own thoughts. If you've journeyed this far, it's because, deep within, you sense the unsettling dissonance of modern existence. You recognize that many of your interactions are mere facades, hollow and devoid of meaning. True growth, you realize, does not flourish amidst the clamor, but in the dark recesses of introspection. Now, the chilling question looms: do you possess the courage to confront this truth? For once you embrace it, there is no retreat. It becomes a torment. Trivial exchanges morph into absurdities. The desperate urge to conform vanishes, leaving only the stark, unyielding truth. The truth that solitude is not a curse. It is a rare privilege, one that only the resilient can withstand. You can no longer deceive yourself. The illusion of joy in what once felt normal shatters. You cannot feign fulfillment in empty dialogues, or pretend that the approval of others holds any weight. And that is the point of no return. It's a terrifying realization, isn't it? Most people drift through life, desperately trying to blend in, making silent sacrifices to gain acceptance, stifling their true selves to avoid unsettling others. But you can no longer afford that illusion. You've uncovered a truth that eludes the masses. Life isn't about conforming. It's about discovering what truly resonates within you, and having the audacity to pursue that path, even if it leads you into the shadows of solitude. Here lies the cruelest irony. The more you dare to reveal your true self, the more you become a beacon of magnetism. People yearn for authenticity, yet so few possess the courage to embrace it. Those who stride forward unafraid, who seek no one's validation, these are the ones who draw others in, not out of a desire for followers, but because genuine freedom is a haunting rarity, impossible to overlook. Now I pose a question to you: what will you do with this unsettling knowledge? You cannot simply cast it aside. You might pretend you never encountered this revelation, retreating back into the comforting facade of normalcy, continuing to mold yourself into the shape that society demands. Or you can choose the far more daunting path. You can confront the discomfort of truth. You can accept that the majority will never understand you. You can cease the betrayal of your own spirit just to fit in. You can begin to live for yourself, not for the hollow approval of others. What will you choose? The darkness awaits your answer. Ultimately, there are two kinds of people in this world: those who adapt, and those who discover their true selves. Most people opt for the first choice because it's simpler, more comfortable, and safer. However, it's the few who choose the latter who truly make an impact. So, I ask you, what type of person are you? If you've read this far, I'd like you to leave a comment saying silence is power, as those who grasp this concept are prepared to navigate life on their own terms. If this video resonated with you, or if at any moment you felt I was articulating something you've always sensed but never voiced, then consider subscribing, because this is just the start. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please share your thoughts on my question, and remember to conclude your response with the phrase,